Welcome to the Speakeasy, a showcase of writers and their work, produced in the studios of WFWM Public Radio and presented by the Center for Literary Arts at Frostburg State University. And I'm your host, Jack Dubose. Welcome, everyone. Our guest today is Gilbert Lee Cockrum, who performs under the moniker Gilbert Lee, and his EP is entitled Some Kind of Nothing. Some Kind of Nothing. And talk to me a little bit about how you got to that title.
Oh, that title? It's I stole a line from a Shakespeare play. Coriolanus. Are you familiar with that work? Of course. Jack's nodding his head, but we'll take his word for it. Anyway, there's a line, I can't remember which character says it, about the main character after he goes off to, he basically betrays his home country, and he goes off to fight for the opposition, and one of his friends tries to reason with him, and he comes back. The friend, I think his name's Caius Marcius, is the friend. I'm a terrible former English major for not knowing this, but he comes back and reports that Coriolanus couldn't be reasoned with, and that he was a kind of nothing. And I just like that line. Beyond that, though, I had a sixth track planned for the EP that was titled, or no, it was just a line in the song, I'm sorry, Some Kind of Nothing. But the rest of the song was terrible, so I didn't include it. And then I realized after I decided that would be the best title for the album that there wasn't actually any, mention of that song.
I think riffing on a Shakespearean insult is fine.
Yeah, I think so too. But there is Some Kind of Nothing. There's that theme of some of the tracks, Stray Dogs, I think, and maybe one or two of the others. Stray Dogs has the most overt theme of detachment, I guess, and nothingness. So it works, I guess. And even if it doesn't, that's the story.
That you're sticking to it. So thanks for joining us here on the Speakeasy, a showcase of writers and their writing. Singer-songwriter Gilbert Lee with us today. And if you're just joining us, let's hear a tune from the EP now. This is called Goodbye, Lonesome Low.
Lights burned out as we walked into our home. So we sat round by candle fire, the melodies we sang as a lonely pacifier, and the rain kept falling like the only song we know. I said goodbye to the lonesome low. I wish I could let everybody know. Said goodbye to the low down, lonesome low. I said hello to the afterglow. When all was said and done, it was always rock and roll. came up in rows. But we don't mind if the clouds roll in. One journey's ended and another one begins. So let the clouds roll in, 'cause there ain't no lonesome low. I said goodbye to the lonesome low. I wished I could let everybody know. I said goodbye to the low down lonesome low. I said hello to the afterglow. When all was said and done, it was always rock and roll. I said hello to the beautiful afterglow. I said goodbye to the lonesome low. I wish I could let everybody know. I said goodbye to the low down lonesome low. I said hello to the afterglow. When all was said and done, it was always rock and roll. I said hello to the beautiful afterglow. The beautiful afterglow. Ba-da-da.
And we're back. Thanks for that. Live in the studio with Gilbert Lee. And talk to me a little bit about what you grew up listening to that's made you the musician you are today.
Man, I mean, in a word, the Beatles. Well, that's two words. The Beatles. That's probably that sounds really obvious and cliche now. That I think so many people cite them as an inspiration. But that, I mean, I'm being honest. I'm not being cliche. That really was the bulk of what was played around the house was the Beatles. The Beach Boys also a lot, and I know that 60s British Invasion and some, like a lot of the folk singers of that era too. And then, but also when so that was what was just always playing in the background when I was really young. And then when I was coming of age, so to speak, was in the mid 90s. And so I bought like my first CDs and cassettes. I remember being like that. Some from like the grunge scene. I mean, Nirvana, obviously, and bands like that, but also just more of the alternative pop, like Gin Blossoms and Blues Traveler, bands like that. So I don't know, something in between 60s rock and 90s alternative, and I guess there was a little bit of like new wave in there too that I would occasionally hear, which most of the music that I play now sounds nothing like that, but I guess, I mean, like overall stylistically, but I guess if I was really picking at it, I could probably find some of those motifs, I guess, from all of those genres in there.
Let's hear another song from the EP, Some Kind of Nothing. This one's called Stray Dogs.
Just enough
And we're back. If you're just joining us on the Speakeasy, we're talking to Gilbert Lee. So talk to me just a little bit now. I want to know some more about your process as a songwriter.
Well, I write the songs. So no, it's always different. Man, that's really a tough question. Like what the process is, or how because there's a lot in there. I mean, what the actual process is, or
So it's different for every song.
yes. I mean, mostly yes. There are certain things that happen, always, and then the major difference is coming up with the melody. I think that's the major difference for most of the songs. So to talk a little bit about that, sometimes this is going to sound pretentious, and I don't mean for it to. I think anybody who's written songs for even a small amount of time probably experiences the phenomenon of just like having a melody in your head, waking up in the middle of the night with a melody. So that happens occasionally, or sometimes if I'm driving, I tend to, if I'm driving, especially if I'm riding a motorcycle, I can't listen to music, but even sometimes I'll just be driving in the car with the windows down, and that white noise kind of has that same effect. I don't know, of like it's just random sounds coming into my head. So I like it best when that happens. It just feels more natural. So coming up with the melody, it's just, something that's firing in my brain, and I might have to piece it together a little bit, or the melody that comes to me might be like, oh, that sounds really great as like a catchy kind of hook, but I have to fill out the verses, or vice versa. And so if I have to do that, then I just go into the alternative process anyway, which is sitting down with a chord progression and just trying to sing over top of it as many different possibilities. So some songs are built just by doing that. Some are built by getting pieces or a bulk of a melody and then trying to fill it in with the chords. And I think I have decent pitch when I'm singing, but I'm not one of those people who can just sing a note and be like, oh, that was a C or that was an A. And so if something comes into my head as a melody, I have to like really sing it a few times and sit down with the guitar and figure out what note am I actually even singing. And so that takes some time too. But once I do that, I can fill in the rest. The lyrics are always pretty much the same process though, and it's fairly laborious, I guess. I write poetry also, and I'm terrible at it, but it works better with songs. I think the type of lyrics I write, but I'll just kind of write out the idea for every line. Like I need this idea, and then try to revise it for the the syllable count and for the sounds. Try to revise it into something that will fit into that melodic structure. So the lyrics, although I try to keep them as simple as I can in most cases, it might not sound like they go through a lot of revision, but they do. I mean, and by revision, I mean, even changing one word here or there, but they go through a good bit of revision. And then there's the whole process of arranging the song too. So once I have like, here's a verse and chorus and here's the lyrics, then I have to figure out, okay, is there going to be an instrumental break anywhere? What instruments fit this song best? And I don't claim to know for sure that I ever make the right decision when it comes to that. I like to vary the instruments as best I can. I mean, sometimes I try to get a sound in a certain song that you might not expect with the lyrical, matching the lyrical content. There's a sitar on Stray Dogs, and that and I really can't play sitar, but I just kind of picked out some notes on it. That was just to get that weird kind of droney sound, because I thought it might fit the theme of the lyrics. So the arrangement, this is one of the first times I've actually started thinking about it since you asked me this question, so thanks for that. But it's a process in and of itself too. And the more I write songs, the more I realize that's one of the most important parts, because a song in the age of recording, I mean, it changes so dramatically based on how it's arranged, what instruments are being used to fill it out, even, what style am I going to sing it in. On this EP, Some Kind of Nothing, I didn't really, most of the songs I think I sing with the same kind of tonal quality. I'm working on some new material now, and I'm actually trying to experiment a little more with the dynamics of my vocals too. And so in hindsight, I wish I had done that more on the EP, but it's something that I'm kind of learning too is an important part of the writing process.
Next time. So we're going to hear another tune from Some Kind of Nothing. This is called For the Swamp Blues. And we're back in the studio with Gilbert Lee on the Speakeasy. Thanks for joining us if you're just tuning in. And just one more thing I want to touch on with you. You talk about the waiting on the Holy Ghost for the Swamp Blues, and so how does that figure for you, waiting on the Holy Ghost? Does religion figure into your work, or is it?
It can't help but figure in. I mean, I came from a pretty religious family.
Okay.
I'm not personally very religious. I was for a long time, but I still tend to. I'm not sure. I'm in a weird flux state as a human when it comes to religious ideas, and I guess as a musician too. But there's something. I think there's some kind of utility to the symbols and the ideas of these traditions. I mean, our Western tradition, of course, is mostly Judeo-Christian, so that's what the symbols I'm used to. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it slips in even beyond those specific symbols, just ideas about like original sin, for instance, not like the Christian sense, but like why do we feel that we have an original sin? There must be something about us that we feel we need to be redeemed in some way, and ideas of redemption and transcendence. I would assume, I guess maybe I shouldn't, but I would assume most writers are exploring those ideas on some level anyway. And so it's either that the religion has kind of seeped into my brain subconsciously and the ideas come out, or it might just be I'm a human being who's trying to write. And so regardless of how I was raised, those ideas might just be prominent in anyone who writes. I could be wrong. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just a lowly singer-songwriter here.
So play one more for us. Take us out. You brought a ukulele with you today, so let's hear one on that. What's the tune you want to play for us?
So this is a new one that I'm still working on, and it is called Dial Me Up.
Another night with you, floating down around your blues. All we see are pixels on a screen. All we know is chemical. Dial me up, I've got my dial up, the transmission is clear. I dial you up, we've got the dial up, the next big thing is here. Dial me up, I've got my dial up, the transmission is clear. I dial you up, we've got the dial up, the next big thing is here. I've got my dial up, the transmission is clear. I dial you up, we've got the dial up, the next big thing is here. Dial me up, I've got my dial up, the transmission is clear. I dial you up, we've got the dial up, the next big thing is here.
So thanks for joining us today on the Speakeasy. Gilbert Lee, and we're going to have this fellow back again talking to us about nonfiction. So stay tuned. Thanks again, and I really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you, Jack, for having me.
You've been listening to The Speakeasy, a showcase of writers and their work. I'm Jack Dubose, and the show is produced in the studios of WFWM Public Radio and presented by the Center for Literary Arts at Frostburg State University. Executive producers Chuck Dickin and Jennifer Brown.